Alright guys, Video Fletcher here, doing a quick, simple video. Wanted to give you an update of, we are a week into Breach League. I don't know why I'm checking my watch. We are a week into Breach League. Wanted to give you an update on the Flameblast character. We've had 4,000 people watch the guide. Some people have got some extra questions. Maybe some people are wondering how it tackles the endgame bosses. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it so far. Maybe how to tackle breaches. And some general gameplay tips and thoughts and feelings about the build. Hands up, haven't attempted any Guardians or anything like that, but we've done some bosses, I'll let you know. So the first boss, again, this isn't Uber. Now, I have different feelings about what makes a successful build and what doesn't. For me, a successful build can do everything in the game. Absolutely every piece of content in the game, which might limit your builds down a lot to what you can pick from. So when I tell somebody, oh, the build isn't good, it's got different standards. I want to be farming Uber. I want to be farming Uber Lab. I want to be killing Guardians, and I want to be farming Shaper. Not just killing him, I want to be comfortable on it. I want to be able to farm him. So right now, the only thing I've managed to do is regular Atziri. Now, for a lot of people, regular Atziri, they have never tackled. They haven't done it. Maybe they followed the starter build and they want to know if it can kill regular Atziri. This video is taken from my stream. As you're watching now, I've downloaded it and we're going to show you sort of the video. I'll skip through it and I'll give you some thoughts. Now, the build can handle regular Atziri on life. You don't need to be CI. The first time I did this, I forgot to record. I wasn't streaming, I wasn't recording. And I did it before I went CI. I was a very low level. I think I was only a few levels over at the Atziri area. And I remember I had 4.2k life and I had about 1.9k ES. So I was life based, but I just had some ES gear on because it's what I found, and I took some ES nodes because they were on the tree. So I had about probably like a 6k life pool, and I felt really comfortable on Atziri. I didn't feel at any point like I was in danger of dying. Yeah, you can always die to the trash bleed. That's always a little thing, but the fight seemed okay. Now, I've never played totems at all in Path of Exile. I'm a complete new player just like you, so I've been figuring out how the build sort of plays, how you should play totems, and trying to figure out the little tips to make your game smoother. Little things like place a totem before the door, then at least when you open it, it's going to instantly charge. Like there, I didn't pay attention to the bleed, almost died. Place the totem outside the door, then open the door, then it's already charging and killing it. A lot of the bosses have like grates, or the mobs have grates in them, in the walls, and you can place a totem and your totem can shoot as long as if it can see a mob and it's not directly hidden behind like a concrete wall. This isn't a build that is going to, I don't imagine, do everything in the game, unless it surprises me. But it has been able to kill Uberlab, which I've got a video for. I have killed regular Atziri, and I have completed a tier 15 red map, which for a week into the league on very low budget, for me is absolutely great. It might not be the build that propels me to absolute endgame one-shot DPS like the old Reach of the Council, King of the Forest build I did on my YouTube channel. It might not be that good, but for now it feels good. You can see I'm using AoE and I'm putting 2 totems on each Val. And yeah, I'm not too sure of how like the whole totem placement works. I've never watched an Atziri video on totems, but I just tried one either side and then it would hit them both. I decided that instead of putting 2 totems on one and one shot in one and then rage in the other, I decided to try kill them both at the same time. And it worked absolutely fine. We don't need to really see the trash. The trash is pretty standard clear. Again, it's not fast, but I'm taking it slow because I've never done it before. So I didn't want to rush in and just die, because I wasn't sure if I could do it. So I'm using Conk Effect here. Again, if we pause, one of the things I'm a bit unsure about, I won't pause actually, is I just feel that the cast speed I've got isn't great. Maybe I can get that in the future. with some like level 93, but that will be a grind. And some jewels maybe with the levels coming in, and some. If I fix my gear, then I could drop out my shield and run a second dagger, which would give me 20 more cast speed. Because with Conk Effect, yeah, it does more damage, but the AoE is slow and the circle's small. So if they move, they can just get out the way of it and it does no damage, right? If your totem doesn't hit anything, obviously you do no damage. So what is better to do? To do 5,000 damage Conk Effect and hit it once every 3 charges, or to do 3,000 and hit it every time because the AoE is bigger, right? So for the most of the gameplay, I've been sticking with Conk Effect, apart from stationary bosses like Atziri, actual Atziri in a phase. So we skip this on, and regular Atziri is just a doddle, really. I didn't feel in danger at all. It felt the most comfortable I'd done Uber. I'd done a regular Atziri, which was weird because it didn't have the damage at all of other builds. I'd done a Reach of the Council build where I would run in, I would enter onto Atziri, just regular Atziri, even almost Uber, and I would, with barrage projectiles, everything, and I would unleash onto Atziri and almost kill her in her very first phase, right? This isn't like that, but because it's totems, you sort of just place them down and run around, and you don't really feel nervous. Like, you put 2 totems down, your Orb Storms, and you just can sort of walk off, and your totems will kill it, and it dies, right? It seems... Now, I don't know what that would be like on Uber. I'd need a lot more damage, I'd need a 6th link, I'd need all this type of stuff, but I need to remove Ignite Pot as well. But for now, like, you just drop down the 2 pots and kill the trio absolutely fine. It doesn't really feel bad in any way, and the DPS seems fine. So we don't really need to see that. We go ahead and we kill Uber. We kill regular Atziri, not Uber. Drops the flask, and it seems relatively comfortable. So it can definitely do Atziri. As we move on to the lab, this is a 25-minute lab run, right? That obviously is slow as fuck, right? So I'm not sure if this is a lab farmer. It can do the lab. I've done the lab, so technically you could ascend, right? Because I've done the lab. I don't know about a lab farmer. Now, partly the reason it took 25 minutes was because it's a brand new layout. I got lost. I was trying to do like a 3-key run where I actually went into a silver door to open another door to get another key. And it was generally slow. I was also streaming to like 7 odd people who were asking me about the build. So I was taking it really slow and talking to them about the Uber Lab experience. So maybe if I just rushed through it, it would be a lot better. The main issue, again, I'm having is a little bit of survivability where I don't feel like I can just whirling blades through everything and live. It feels a little bit risky to just... Sorry, I've been up now. I've been up like 26 hours now. It feels a little bit iffy to just plow through the lab, because the problem with totems, or should I say the inherent nature of totems, is you put the totem down and then it expands and then it does the damage. So on the lab, one of the most important things to have is instant damage and leech, right? Because if you run across a really annoying set of traps and you are low and there is a totem in front of you that is doing fire damage, or he's doing caution makes you bleed, or there's a skeleton mob in front of you, then you've just come off the trap, you're really low. As CI, you have no inherent like regen or an instant life pot. You are low, and then you see a mob in front of you, you have to press the totem, it has to charge up, then it hits, and by that time you could have been hit by something and you're dead, right? So carrying some Val Disciplines helps for the traps, but they're not always going to be up. I think it handled it okay. I don't think I play the lab particularly well on CI in general. For me, I much prefer a lab farmer that's a bow character with mirror arrow or blink arrow, should I call it. Just feels nicer. I feel like you can do the lab relatively quickly, and it will be okay. I mean, I kill it, and it's on a pretty cancerous day. And I'm doing, like, talking, and it's pretty slow. So as I skip through, I don't know the layout. If you're wondering why there is a dab in the top left, it's because my emote is Paul Pogba dabbing, you know, the fucking dab. So Mona Lisa has to dab, so every time someone follows, they dab. Anyway, whatever. So we go to the first boss, and again, this is Conduits and Idols. So for this one, you basically feel pretty safe. I don't fully buff them up. I don't really understand the mechanics, but that was it. I killed him in that because it's very weird to watch your totem build back because you're often not looking at the damage I'm doing because I'm putting 2 totems down and running around, and then the guy will die. So often it doesn't look like I'm doing much, and then it'll suddenly die. But the damage seems absolutely fine. Right now I'm on a 5 link, so I've got another 6 link to come in, which I think gives me about 1,500 extra damage, which obviously is not sort of how the build scales, because I've only got 3k damage right now, but it is. Flameblast, for those that don't know, gives 110 spell damage per stage, and it goes to 10. So it's getting like 1,000 extra spell damage, so your 5,000 isn't really 5,000 damage, obviously. So we'll skip this on because you don't really need to look at me go through traps. As we go into the second phase of the lab right now, sort of discussing should I take Conk Effect or should I take AoE, and I was discussing the same issues we spoke about before. You know, is it better to hit all the time with AoE or hit less frequently but do more damage? Again, one of the things with this build is I'm running Temp Chains Blasphemy. That helps a lot. For breaches, especially, which I'll get onto in a second, I'll talk about how to survive breaches. But the nature of this build means you only have 1 layer of defense, and that is your HP pool. If they get on you, you don't have block chance. You don't have a counter attack linked to life leech, which I've had before. You don't have these type of things. So once your health pool's down, you're dead. You have nothing. You don't have leech. You don't have, I'm going to sit and leech through something. It's a cheapo build, right, that I'm trying to make scale into the end game. You can sit on life-based gear and kill regular Atziri, slowly get into red maps and clear them very slowly, but I'm trying to race ahead and get to the high-level content, like doing a tier 15 a week into the league for me, or like 6 days into the league, I guess, because it was like yesterday evening. Like 6 days into the league is just unheard of. I'd never done that before. So this build, it obviously works, right? I'm not saying that the build doesn't work. I'm saying that I have different levels of expectations for my builds. I've played a lot of PoE. I've played a lot of builds. Cosprey's Malice, Cyclone, Reach of the Council, Flameblast Totems now, Val Spark, Voltaxic Val Spark. Sorry, I've been up a long time. Essence Drain. All these type of builds I've tried. Fire Nova Mine. I have an expectation that a build works, like, and it can do everything. So if it can't do it great, then yeah, that's my experience. But this is obviously fine. I'm in red maps. I probably spent around about an exalt on gear now, and I'm in tier 15s, right? I've got a shit 5 link that's 400 ES. That can go to 850, 900 ES, 1000 ES if you want mirror-worthy gear, right? I can get much better cast speed. Even though my dagger's shit hot, I could get a better dagger. I could sit and craft one. I could get 2 of those daggers, you know? So, you know, world's your oyster with this build, really. It is a simple build that scales, so that is ideal for the beginning of the league. Now, what people don't seem to understand, that a beginning build is effectively a race to high-level maps, and then you sell the gear you get to make bank. And the reason it works is because with a beginning level build, especially like a flame totem build, a flame blast build or a flame totem build, because you don't need much gear to make the build work, it's all spell based, that you can suddenly sell the good gear you get. There are some builds where you'll get like a belt with, I don't know, say you're doing a dagger build, right? And you find an absolutely sick dagger with crazy high fizz DPS, attack speed and all this. Like, yeah, it's worth a lot, but you want to use it for your build, right? Whereas with this, because you don't really need anything you get early on, you can just instantly sell for profit. Now, this is becoming a little bit spicy because I'm standing in totems that make me take extra damage, and I'm worried about the floor. I'm not quite sure how much damage those things do on the floor. So I'm just being absolutely extra careful, which is making it look rippy as fuck. But I don't want to stand on anything, right? Like, right now I'm in a totem that makes me take extra damage. That buff stays on me. Then there's Saw Blades. He's triple buffed up. I've got Conk affecting, so it's not really hitting him. And, yeah, it wasn't great. But I killed him. And honestly, the lowest I probably dipped down to was 3k ES. Which, yeah, is bad. But it would be the equivalent of like having a 6,000 HP character and going down to half HP. It's a bit worrying, but it didn't feel that bad. The most worrying thing about this is that it's fairly slow to go through the lab. And it is not the quickest lab farmer because you don't have Blink Arrow and stuff. But you can definitely do the lab. I've done the lab. I've done Atziri. And that's that. Now, our last one, I think, yeah, is just Atziri totems. I'm not sure what this is. This is a highlight of just random gameplay, which I can keep in the background as I talk. Now, examples of stuff that's really good with this build is Val Cyclone. We call it the Archon build. We say that if you don't know if you've ever played StarCraft, StarCraft had a thing for a while in the meta until it got nerfed, that the Mothership core was like this core that would come down and it would put a circle around the enemies, and then all the enemies would fall into it, and that was that. It would do a piece of damage, but then someone figured out if you could drop Archons into it that all did splash damage, that when they dropped inside, all the units were inside this vortex, that all the splash damage would hit all the units, and then when they came out, everything would be dead. So I was running with a Cycloner that was doing Val Cyclone, and I was putting 2 Flameblasts on top of each other, right? And then, so they're all in the middle, and I'm flame blasting, boom, all onto the center. So we'll see if we can find an example. There must be one in here somewhere. But yeah, we can see we managed, there's like little things like here we're on a tier 12 lair map with like rippy as fuck, whatever they're called, the sextant mods, and stuff like that, and I can just chill. Obviously, I've got a really strong character partied with me, so I can't really tell exactly what I'm doing DPS wise, but I'm not dying, right? Mineral pools. Here's an example, right, of how to survive a breach. This game is really tough for totems. You have breaches that swarm you. It is not a great league for totems. I probably wouldn't have rolled totems, but I didn't really understand what breaches were. Now I sort of understand them. It's probably not the best build for breaches, but it does work. As you can see, I'm in tier 14 maps, 6 days into the league. Now, a breach, as a totem player, you want to clear the area completely so nothing gets involved. You're going to be swarmed by enough stuff. So you clear the area around the breach. Again, it's not crazy fast gameplay. I'm just telling you how to survive. I run Val Discipline with 2 Val Disciplines with increased duration. So when a breach is opened up, what you want to do is run to the edge, right? You want to run to the edge and you want to clear out the edge. So you clear out all the edge and you give yourself some breathing room. So what you want to do is put 2 totems down, minion out, whirling blades to proc your ascendancy node, and you have cast speed, and you pop your silver flask to get even more cast speed, and then they're really casting quite quickly. So once you've cleared the edges, you meet up into the middle. Because the monsters are spawning on the edges, they're walking the way into the middle. So being on the edge means that you're sitting where the enemies are spawning, and if you leave the breach, they go invisible, which obviously, because we don't have any leech or anything, it's not good to get hit by invisible enemies, obviously. So you want to clear the edges and then run into the center. And basically, a tip is just to look in the top right hand side. If you can see you've got 2 totems up, that's fine, let them do the thing. The second it drops to just 1, place another Whirling Blades around for cast speed. But generally, the breaches are fine when you're running with someone. See what he was doing here? This is the Archon build. So you sort of head to the breach, you clear everything around it, and then you Val Cyclone drops them all on here. So you put your 2 totems down on these 2 pixels, you put your 2 totems down, he sucks everything in, and then your Flameblast just drop on every single monster, and it just does mad damage. You blow everything up, and running this with the Cyclone player is really good because he tanks everything, which makes breaches a lot easier. So top tip, queue with the Cycloner if you want to live through breaches. If not, you're going to have to try clear the edges, Whirling Blades for cast speed, hope you don't run out of mana. My mana regen is awful, so I'm always running out of mana because I haven't got top end gear yet, nothing's min-maxed. And I've got 2 Val Disciplines to save. You can see all the loot appears. So yeah, that is probably my tip. You can see here like a minerals pool boss is fine to kill. We managed to kill it just fine. Just dropping totems and culling it seems fine. And probably this one is like the rippiest one we've done now. This, I just want to pause it, right, because this gameplay is slow. It's not quick gameplay. The totems get killed, I'm throwing out, but the mods we were running, to say we're 6 days into the league, are pretty damn crazy, right? I'm going to see if I press tab at any point in the video so I can actually see. Here we go. Right, so the map I ran was Ellie Weakness, Reflect Fizz, which don't affect me, additional projectiles, monsters are hexproof, so there was no temp chains, monsters take 39% reduced damage from crits, which I'm a crit based build. Players have 40% less block chance. Players have 25% less AoE, so my totems are even smaller than normal. Pack size, blah, blah, blah. So it was really rippy. It was a pretty damn rippy map. And I managed to clear these with 2 times HP. I'm running with a Fizz Cycloner who couldn't do damage because he'd reflect himself to death. So basically they were 2 times health, and I managed to clear a tier 15 with him. Absolutely alright. Yeah, it was slow, but I didn't die. And then we got into the boss room, right? And the boss room happened like this. So I went in, he was already in the room. I hadn't got any power charges up because we were deciding whether we should attempt it. I didn't think I could kill it. With all these Ellie weakness, less AoE, extra proj, I did not think I was going to survive. And I was at like 70% XP at like 90, which is quite a lot of XP to just lose for dying. And I didn't really want to do it. But I thought, do it for the Vine, you know. Do it for the video to show you guys how it handles the content. So I go in, I put in Conk Effect now. With 25% less AoE, Conk Effect hits nothing. Right, this map mod sucks. So I go in with no power charges. I don't get a power charge because I misplaced my orb. I then run in. I drop the 2 totems next to him. Right, I drop the 2 totems next to him. Now, bear in mind, this guy in the lobby with me isn't actually hitting comb at all. Right, he gets really, really low. I get really, really low by all the extra projectiles. And I die. Right, I die. But as we look back, as we go back to the beginning, for some reason when I went in, as I went into the room, I used Val Discipline instantly because I just thought I'm going to get one-shotted. I better run in with as much ES as possible. So I used Val Discipline straight away, which Val Discipline probably would have saved me in the section where I got swarmed by the extra projectiles. and the Ellie weakness and all that's good stuff. Like I could have had a ruby flask. So right now I Val Discipline because I just presume I'm going to go in and get one-shotted. So I Val Disciplined really early, like I've got it on now. So I probably could have saved myself in that. And then after I've died, I run back in and we notice the guy was like 1 HP, right? So we go in and I decide I'm having a round 2 for him, actually. I think I might be able to take this guy down. I'm like, do I want to risk my XP? So I tell the guy, I'm like, I think we can get him. He's got Slayer Cull. He's really, really low. I think he's like 10% HP, so even my own could probably cull him if I had cull. And I go in, I get really, really low, and he gets culled. So we got him to definitely below 20% HP. So as a gear test, with me fucking up using my Val Discipline incorrectly, with me not having power charges, and less AoE and less damage from crits, we managed to almost kill a tier 15 red map cone boss, with double health and all those mods, right? So that 6 days in the league is fine. Obviously, as my gear gets better, my build gets better, gem levels is obviously going to get better. But I just wanted to show you how it's handling content right now, as I don't know many people that will be this sweaty in the league and this far on. I think I'm doing quite well in the league. I just wanted to show you how exactly the build's been going, and that's really what I've been up to. So thought I'd just show it to you and share with you guys really what's been going on. So if you've enjoyed this video and it's helped you understand how viable Flameblast totems is, then give it a like. Apparently YouTube unsubscribes people from my channel every time I upload a video because my video doesn't get like retention or likes or comments. It just gets views, which isn't good for YouTube. YouTube likes to have likes, so I guess you have to beg for likes. So if you want to like the video, please like the video. If not, dislike the video, whatever you want to do. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully that shows you how it handles the bosses. And also, I was IDing these gloves. Right, look at these gloves. These gloves are pretty nice. I drop an alch on them. I scour them, alchem, scour them, and then I think, it's okay, I'll leave it at that, whatever. 2 resistances, 98 ES, and I think, actually, I think I don't want to sell them as eye level 84 bases. I think I want to try something different. So I go in and I drop a Chaos Orb on it, and I use 2 Chaos Orbs, and I get 188 ES, 2 reses, 50 dex, which is perfect for a Firestorm build, and I ended up divining it to 220 ES with 40 fire and 48 lightning and 50 dex. So it was quality. So there we go, that's how the build's been going. Hopefully you enjoyed all that good stuff. I'm going to probably try and catch some sleep now. I've been up 26 hours. Really tired. Probably like mumbled on in this video, so apologies. Peace out. Later.